We all have things in life that we value more than others. Those things can be prize, possession, cars, maybe even people. You see, I want to stress the importance of value because while everyone values certain things in their lives, a lot of people don't value themselves. So let's take a look at what value really means. A person's principle or standard of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. But how many people value themselves? An article from American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy suggests that 20% of marriages, couples slap, shove, in other words, abuse each other. And it be those typical relationships that start off in the honeymoon phase, it's all nice and sweet. But then it gets to a point where there's physical abuse in a relationship, and people who value themselves just don't allow stuff like that to happen. But what does that mean though? But you see, people don't make a big decision to end up in an abusive relationship. They make a small decision to lower their dating criteria. They make another decision to settle for someone who doesn't value them. And then they make the decision to ignore the obvious signs before it escalates into something serious. That's how people end up in abusive relationships. But what be their number one response when asked, why don't you leave? Why do you stay and continue to endure all this abuse? It'd be the typical, it's because I love her, it's because I love him. See, people who don't value themselves have a terrible perception of what love is. The person you should learn to love before anyone else is yourself. Otherwise, you can't really expect anyone else to love you the same way you would love yourself. And a lot of people fail to realize this. And this is why you hear people going to the end of the earth to justify being victims in a relationship. People may fail to see their value because of their lack of success or maybe their past. If I was to take a dollar bill and ball it up, it would still be the value of $1. If it was to then rain on the dollar, it would still be worth $1. If I was to take the bill and rip it in half, right? Because you can still tape it, right? The point I'm trying to make is the dollar doesn't lose its value regardless of what it goes through. So why would people feel like they're of no value because of what they did in the past? Why would people feel less of themselves because of anything that happened or any circumstances that they were involved in the past? Don't sell yourself short under any circumstances. You are of value. Regardless of who you are, regardless of what you may think, regardless of what you did, you are of value. Lisa Nichols is one of the most successful motivational speakers in the world today, and she had a rough past. Like most people, she been in an abusive relationship. At the age of 12, her father took her out on a date. He took her on a dinner date, and he told her that he was doing it to show her how she gets to be treated. But then he told her how she chooses to be treated will be on her, and ultimately, she chose to be in the abusive relationship. She chose to be treated less than what her value really was. But her message to everyone that went through what she went through was that no matter how old you are, no matter how old you get, it is never too late to turn back that clock and fall madly in love with yourself. And today, Lisa is one of my top 3 motivational speakers in the world. And then you have people who devalue themselves on a global scale. Notice how many people you see idolizing celebrities by the thousands. You see a famous celebrity walking down the street, and you see thousands of people hawking after them. Like they're just completely worthless compared to them. You have got to be kidding me. Y'all are better than that. Don't let somebody who's rich or who's famous dictate how you're supposed to live. Don't let them cloud your judgment and tell you how to think. Because let's be real, most of them are puppets put in place just to push a certain agenda. God created everybody to fulfill a certain purpose, yes, including you. Don't just sit back and let your dreams pass you by. Realize what your value is and capitalize on it. I had to learn to embrace a lot of the things about myself. Because growing up, I placed so many people above me as if they was worth so much more than me. A lot of things I did in the past made me want to cringe. And when I say if I was half the person I am today, back then, I mean it. And that's not to say that I completely mastered the ability to love myself. But I had no realization of what value was back then. That's why I looked at everybody else. I used to look at the kids in school and think they were the standard. They used to wear all the Jordans, the Adidas, and all the latest clothes. And it's not that I couldn't afford it. I just would never ask for it because I thought it was ridiculous to pay so much money for a brand. Because I didn't grow up poor by any means. I just grew up with a poor perception of what value was. When in reality, they were the ones who didn't know anything about value because they were wearing stuff that everybody else wore. So I'm saying all this to say, stop letting people tell you that you're not enough. You are sufficient. And before I learned to love myself, I had to learn to know myself. Take some time for yourself and get to know yourself. Because when you know yourself, you love yourself, and you understand your value, can't nobody take advantage of you because you won't settle. You are priceless. And y'all gotta understand that because chances are nobody's gonna see the value in you like you do. Don't prioritize others above you. Don't take no for an answer. Realize what your purpose is and chase it. And don't settle. Know what you are worth.